But yeah, so the Mass Effect Legendary Edition is just a next gen update of all the single player campaign stuff from the first three Mass Effect games, not including Andromeda, because Andromeda takes place like far off in the future.
Okay.
And it was I think it came out with this previous generation, whereas like the first Mass Effect game, I think the first two were like the PS2, Xbox 360 era.
Yeah, that's when I got the PS2. Even I think even 3 I've got on my PS3.
Yeah, that
60?
sounds
I think
right.
so. I think so. And I still haven't even played Mass Effect 3. So I might
Really?
end up having to do that. No, I never did because I came to Mass Effect late. I wasn't a big fan of KOTOR back in the day.
Mm,
And so Mass Effect, no, it's a great game. The style of play. I
yeah.
was more a Jade Empire guy. If you,
Jade, I'm really sad that they never made the sequel to Jade Empire, because Jade Empire was really good.
it got sandwiched in between the KOTOR storyline and what came after. There was what's Mass Effect.
Yeah,
It got
yeah.
sandwiched right between KOTOR and Mass Effect. So they put out Jade Empire, which was a fantastic game, and I loved the battle structure, battle system for it, and the just the storyline and diving into the old stories of basically Chinese lore. Loved it. And then and you're right, it went to nowhere. But yeah, so I came to Mass Effect late. And then by the time I got on board with Mass Effect, I beat 1, beat 2, and then 3. I was like, okay, I'm going to take a little bit of time because I had heard the things about how 3 was a little divisive in the ending.
Yeah. I didn't have a problem with the ending. I played both. Like I purposely didn't download
You
the DLC that changed the ending until after I had finished it,
Oh, okay.
just so that I could see the difference.
Hmm.
I didn't have a problem. I don't
Okay.
want to spoil it for you, since you'll probably be playing it once that comes out. But yeah, I didn't have I didn't have a problem with either ending, or
Okay.
any of the I guess now 4 different endings that you could have had for it.
Fair enough.
Um,
I think because I had ran through 1 and 2.
yeah.
I mean, I devoured them. So I think I was just like, okay, I want to take a break and play something else. And then I just never got back to 3. And now I'll probably, I don't know, maybe I'll pick up the Legendary Collection too. Real quick, let's go. I just want to recap since anybody who watched the first 5
Oh
minutes or
yeah,
so.
yeah, yeah. So when after we finish the stream, I'll go back in and I'll edit it to cut up to where you can actually hear our conversation starting.
Oh,
Um,
okay, okay, perfect.
that'll be good there. But yeah, to recap the beginning, just
For the few people, Donnie just came in. Hey, Donnie.
just as far as like scheduling goes, I keep failing because my day job stuff just keeps getting like all out of whack. But
Yeah,
next,
you have to drive through Los Angeles at all hours of
yeah,
traffic.
next week, I will finally have the Star Trek portion of my interview with Michael Dorn ready to go, and we'll play that. We about a month or so ago, we played the first part, which was my interview with him about Agent Revelation, which is a new action movie. It's like action sci-fi movie that he's in. He's
Mhm.
also voicing one of the villains in Invincible, which is finally going to be dropping soon. Although he said that he couldn't remember actually
Doing it.
doing the voicing for that. He said that they
it's
recorded it
it's
a couple
probably
of
one of
years
those
ago.
things he just went in, did it, went out, and was like, okay, I got the paycheck. I don't
Hmm.
know.
Um, oh, hey, Bad Culture TV is here as well. That is Jay. So we've
Hey,
got 2/3 of our wrestling team is here in the chat.
excellent, excellent. Does that mean we have to wrestle?
No,
Oh,
no,
okay, okay.
no.
Because I'm okay wrestling.
No one wants to see me in a speedo. I don't want to see me in a speedo.
Okay, well, why don't you just do a unitard
Maybe a
match?
singlet, like maybe like the type
Yeah,
of
a
thing that
singlet.
like Andre the Giant used to wear.
Mhm, mhm.
Like I might be okay with that.
That works. That works. I totally want to do a wrestling match, a la a game of chicken.
Well, you know what we can do. I have the new 2K wrestling game, WWE Battlegrounds.
Oh, okay.
It's not so new anymore. But when we get our Twitch up and going, we
Yeah,
can get going with that.
that'd be fun. Master Shake is ready to do some chicken wrestling with us. Excellent. I'm excited for this. It's a whole new thing.
Wait. Would that be cockfighting?
Would it? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. That's got such a negative connotation with it, but
I just always think about the South Park episode. Cock magic.
Yes.
It was just so good. But yeah, back to our schedule really quick. Next weekend, Michael, second half of my interview with Michael Dorn, talking about Star Trek and his Worf spinoff that he's actually been working on. And then the week after that, we will do our fan casting for a new cast for TNG for the inevitable reboot. As Brett Spiner said, they did TOS, so now TNG is inevitable. And then the week after that, or the month after that, over the course of the next couple of months, we'll do our fan casting for TNG, DS9, Voyager, maybe Enterprise.
Yeah.
I feel like we might have to wait to do Enterprise until we're done with the whole series.
By the time we get there, we might be. No, I guess not. Yeah, I mean, that's true. That'll only be a few weeks away.
Yeah, we've got probably a year and a half maybe before we get to the end of Enterprise.
We're gonna have to start releasing these 2 a week or something.
Yeah. So anyway, let's get into this episode. Rogue Planet, episode 18. In the production order, episode 17, depending on which streaming service you're watching it on. But this week's episode was interesting. Like I've got mixed feelings on it.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
go ahead. You want to give us like a brief summary of like the setup for this episode?
Oh, sure. So, beginning of the episode, they stumble upon a rogue planet, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's a planet that has somehow broken its orbit in its solar system and is just kind of off traveling at whatever speed a planet might travel at. And technically, you would think if you ran into a rogue planet that it would be icy because it's pretty much stuck in the darkness of space. However, this particular one has some gas vents on it, which allow for some vegetation and life to thrive in certain areas, I guess. So the Enterprise happens to come upon it. They find a shuttlecraft there. They touch down and they meet some hunters from their Eska, I believe.
It sounds
Eskin. Right. They're Eska hunters, and then hilarity ensues.
Hilarity. What did you? So in the very beginning, the setup for this episode, we have Archer on the bridge, and Trip is. I love the thing with Trip and his camera.
The picture thing.
Yeah. And like. It didn't seem like that because usually like some of that stuff will tie in later in the episode, like because it's not always just like a cold open. It's like a setup, like foreshadowing something that's going to happen later. I didn't get that from this. It seemed like it was just kind of like a one-off, like fun moment.
It definitely was more of a fun moment. However, I do think it kind of is working on kind of an overarching theme with Captain Archer. But it's kind of it's showing him how uncomfortable he is with the spotlight to juxtapose the fact that he is going to be the man that basically makes Starfleet, makes the Federation.
Yeah,
I think it's one of those things. So it's not so
more
much
like a season wide instead of like episode.
We got in the down in the comments there. I think Jay, it is Bad Culture, right? Yeah. His cousin played Ensign.
Her.
Oh, sorry. I apologize. Jay's cousin played Ensign Giusti. I don't have my glasses on in TNG.
I don't know if I remember who that was. I'm gonna have to look that up now.
Yeah, definitely look that up. That's really cool. And my apologies, Jay. We have not met face to face, and that was totally. I'm sorry. Seriously, don't laugh at that. I'm seriously sorry. But yeah. Uh, yeah, I kind of think.
Oh, okay. I remember her.
Mhm.
She was a relief operations officer, while Data was temporarily first officer.
Oh, that's so cool.
It
That
was
is.
when Picard and Riker were working with the mercenary Gambit, Gambit. Those two episodes, which
That is.
I really enjoyed those episodes. I thought those were fun. Like I always love seeing Patrick Stewart doing non Captain Picard things in the Star Trek world. So
Yeah.
so that when he was undercover there, anytime he
How,
went to the holodeck is like Dixon Hill.
Dixon. Well, how about
Um,
the couple episodes where he went down and he was kind of an Indiana Jones archaeologist guy?
the Chase is one of my all time favorite episodes.
Yeah.
Um, and so it also interesting from the Chase, just because we were just talking about Deep Space Nine, the woman who played the progenitor, I guess, like I don't know what you
Yeah.
would call her. She was the
Uh,
hologram that
th-
popped up and told everyone like how life came to be in this part of the galaxy. She went on to play the female founder in Deep Space Nine.
oh wow. Oh, okay. Yeah. That's right. I totally did remember that. I did see that recently. That that goes into
It's
a
just
trend which
random.
when we can get into it later, but I took the photo actually. I took a screenshot because there's so many, but almost every single guest star, the three Eska hunters and the woman who plays the human version, the human form of the Wraith, they all have previous Star Trek credits.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's one of those episodes um, where they talk about that kind of, or not
Yeah,
they talk about, but
I
it's one of
know.
those things that makes you want to be part of this because they just constantly bring back people they
Yeah,
like working with.
Ethan Phillips is in the next episode.
Oh yes, that's right, that's right. In the one of the Ferengis,
Hmm.
Ethan Phillips. Also, uh,
Go on.
it's our
Go.
favorite. It's Jeffrey
Jeffrey
Combs
Combs. Yeah.
and Ron Howard's brother, Clint Howard.
Clint Howard.
Isn't Clint Howard one of
Yeah.
them? Hmm.
Who has been in numerous episodes. Like he started in Star Trek back on the original series.
Sorry, I'm reading what Donnie's writing here too. He's talking about commanding officer. I don't have my glasses on. I really need my
He's saying
glasses to read.
that when after Picard went missing with them, Data was acting first officer for Riker as acting captain. But then when Riker got taken over there, Data ended up getting bumped up to acting captain.
Captain, yeah. And then there was that whole thing like, should an android be captain and that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
Yeah. So you were saying that in regards to Rogue Planet, you had mixed feelings on this episode. Does it have to do
yeah.
with the storytelling? Does it have to do with the
So
hunting thing?
no, it just kind of it felt like I don't have a problem with filler episodes in general. Just as a thing that exists, the filler episodes don't bug me. But this episode just kind of felt like a filler episode.
Yeah, yeah. There's nothing really that kind of moved anything forward.
Like we didn't actually get any like there were no significant character defining moments here. There was nothing really that stood out from this episode that I'm going to carry forward into future episodes.
It was and actually when I was reading up on production of it, a lot of people kind of felt similarly that the episode started out great, but then it kind of just falls flat.
Yeah,
Um,
like it's not bad. Like
no,
it's a solid episode. It just doesn't push the narrative forward at all for the show.
no, I forget where I read it, but some fans say technically it's not, but it's a lost DS9 episode or Voyager episode because it's got Chakotay written all over it.
Yeah, yeah, I can kind of see that. If like Archer in the Voyager universe, Archer would have been Chakotay,
Mhm.
like basically on like I guess a vision quest or
Yeah,
because
that's
like
what it
that.
feels like.
Yeah, because like he kind of had he did that a couple of times in the show, didn't he?
Yeah,
Like
he had a few. He had to do one, and he took somebody else on a.
yeah,
No. It was when Chakotay was under for some reason. He was knocked out, and then somebody else went on a vision quest to help him. But then there was the other episode where he used his vision quest in order to save the crew because the crew was being I forget what was happening to him, but the rest of the crew couldn't do anything because there was an alien species that was attacking
yeah.
them. Um,
Yeah, I don't remember exactly what that was, but no,
yeah,
I remember that being a thing, and yeah, I can absolutely see him being the protagonist, I guess,
yeah.
in this
Um,
episode.
it I kind of feel similarly. The episode was a fun episode. I thought they made a lot out of nothing. There were some things that were a little weird. The whole, and I'm glad that I read other people caught this, but the fact that there were green plants on a planet that had no sun. Now, granted,
I mean
maybe at one
that's
point it did,
yeah.
but they would
So
have
like
lost.
on Earth, the green in plants is caused by the chlorophyll.
It's
Um,
yeah, photosynthesis.
but that doesn't necessarily mean that the green on this planet couldn't be caused by something else.
But
Like maybe
the gas vents, which presumably are giving life to everything, there was nothing green about them. They were all like blue and yellow.
well, blue and yellow makes green.
That's true.
So
Fair enough. Okay,
I
okay.
don't.
You know what? You solved the problem. So, but there was something, and again, maybe you'll be able to solve this. So, whenever they did one of the aerial shots of the planet and Enterprise orbiting it, there was just this small bit of light on the horizon part of the planet, on the far side of the planet. The main bulk of the planet was dark, but then on the edge, if you just looked at the edge, the circumference of it, you would see the you would no sorry circumference goes around it. I'm being an idiot. But no, it would be a circumference from a
Perimeter.
different side. Yeah, the perimeter, sure, but on the far side, it was like there was a little bit of light. And in my mind, I'm sitting there thinking, oh, they're trying to talk about, or they're trying to show that the light from stars far away are bouncing off of it.
Right.
But if it's only bouncing off of it in the places that Enterprise isn't,
Yeah.
shouldn't it be like random pockets where the gas vents are like very uh, active?
Right,
You'd see,
or
you know,
like a
kind of like
giant
looking at
volcano
Earth
or
at
something
night.
on the planet that
Yeah, something like that.
massive amounts of heat or some sort of photonic thing that's happening somewhere that's providing light on the planet. Yeah.
Yeah, the science kind of went out the window, I
Yeah.
think, on this episode. But it was still a fun episode, and you got to see some things like Commander Reed, or no, Lieutenant Reed. Is he a lieutenant? Yeah, or is he a
Yeah.
commander? Is Lieutenant Reed, right? Lieutenant Reed, Commander Tucker, Lieutenant Reed.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure it's Lieutenant Reed. But you know, Reed's character, we find out, you know, we've already learned that he's very not picky when it comes to what he eats, but as far as what he likes.
Right.
Um, and yet the Dragon meat, he's like loving it. He's scarfing it
Sorry,
down.
Reed is a lieutenant.
He is Lieutenant Reed.
Yeah.
Okay. You're going out of focus just a little bit.
I don't my See, last week I don't know how many people saw my post, but my computer decided to eat shit last week. Like not like you know fall off my desk or anything, but it just started doing just like all kinds
Oh,
of
you're back.
stupid stuff. So I completely reformatted it and like reinstalled Windows, reinstalled all. So I'm still like a week later noticing things where I'm like, oh, I didn't fix this, or I didn't install this, or I didn't install. So I didn't install the settings app for my camera, so I can't.
Oh, okay.
I
Well,
can't.
you're back in focus
I
now.
can't tell it not to do autofocus yet.
Gotcha. Then that's probably what it is. But you did record yourself doing all these fixes, so you're going to put it up as a DIY, right?
Yeah. No.
No.
Although I am thinking about it because I mean you know because I've been like with all the random crap with the computer and just with like wanting the streams to be better and everything. I want to stop using my laptop for this. So
Mhm.
once I actually get all of the pieces to build a desktop, then yeah, maybe we'll do a live stream on Twitch, building the computer.
Yeah, might as well.
I'm not going to look like Henry Cavill did when he built his. So I apologize for that. Have you seen that?
I heard about it. I have no desire to see Henry Cavill build a computer, but I heard
It's
about it.
it's pretty, like he's got some like epic music in the background too.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. But
Okay, maybe. I mean, I did enjoy him in The Witcher, so
I don't look like him, so it will not be the same.
you're getting there. You're getting there.
I look more like the spawn of like Paul Shearer and David Cross.
You've given this a lot of thought, huh?
Maybe some like, okay. So if we were in the Twins universe and I was created using the same technology, they will have pulled DNA from Paul Shearer, David Cross, David Tell, Moby, and the dude from Vsauce.
Okay, so just all bald people.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just all bald people
with beards. Bald people with beards.
People with beards. I like that you put Paul Shearer first, though, because that's I mean, to people who know Paul Shearer, of course, it's like, yeah, Paul Shearer. But Paul Shearer is definitely not a name that is household. So that's cool that you pulled Paul Shearer.
Maybe the Toxic Avenger.
Oh yeah. Okay, a little bit of Toxic
Bit.
Adventure. Sure, a little bit of Toxic. Toxie, right?
Yeah,
that's what he was called.
Yeah,
Toxie.
Citizen Toxie was the
yeah.
I think one of the later movies.
So back to the episode. You were mentioning something that I thought was a thought that I had, but I kind of threw it off because I was like, nah, that can't be right. There's got to be things. But is it possible that the Decalan wraiths are the only life on the planet, and so the Dragons, which are the pig-like things, the luminescent bugs, the centipede-like things, the what are they? The boar worms, the firewolves.
Yeah.
You know, all these things, are they all just actually the wraiths making themselves into something? Or because the Eska don't talk about those creatures being on their home world, they only talk about them, and according to the fan wikis, all those things are exclusive to Decala,
right?
Which is the rogue planet. So do they just do that because they know that those exist on the planet, or the wraiths, the Decalan wraiths, are all the sentient life they're all the life on that planet?
So I've got a couple of different theories. I don't know which one is accurate. It might be neither of them, but sure. So the first one is that all these creatures that they see are the creatures that used to inhabit this planet. That these wraiths that are there now, like, are maybe like ascended beings of some kind, or like the like maybe the life that was there has now like turned into like energy type beings or something, and they're recreating the type of animal life that had been on the planet in the past.
Back when it was still part of its solar system.
Right, or they coexisted with those animals and they've recreated them through this. They could be, since we know that they can read the minds of people, maybe from other races that have landed on the planet. Like they plucked those out and have recreated these from like a bunch of different species.
Yeah. So if that's the case, what is their primary source of food? Are they vegetarians? Do they eat the?
Yeah, I don't know. So I'm on the memory alpha page for Decala, which is the planet. So
Decala is the planet.
Just reading through here really quick. The primal volcanic vents were similar to Yellowstone National Park, according to Archer, and reminds people of the grottos of Deneva Prime. The planet was covered by forests similar to the rainforests of New Zealand and Earth. Indigenous life forms included boar worms, dragons, firewolves, some large species of large reptiles, and a species of bioluminescent bug. The planet had no indigenous humanoid life, but it had some higher primates which the Eska did not hunt. However, the Eska did hunt for several species, such as the Dragon, and they hunted a shape-shifting intelligent species called the Wraiths. The Eska did not think the Wraiths were intelligent, but Enterprise discovered that they were, and helped them avoid being detected by the Eska. So there is no more information than that.
Yeah, that's what I was going off of too, aside from what I had, seeing in the episode. So honestly, yeah, I think your opinion makes more sense in that. I mean, I obviously don't know anything about a rogue planet, but I would imagine that a lot of these creatures would have died off once they were out of range of the
Right.
sun.
So that brings up another question though. So assuming that one of my theories is correct, why do the wraiths do this? Why are they allowing themselves and these other animal forms to be hunted?
Well, they did mention in the episode that, well, the Eska said it, that they are intelligent, but not in the way that you or I would measure intelligence.
Right, but
And
let's
even,
sorry. Let's say that
no,
they're all the wraiths. Like
yeah, yeah,
the
yeah,
wraiths are is everything. We know that the
yeah.
wraiths are able to take humanoid form, and
Hmm.
we know that from their
They can also
interaction
turn into the plants.
from their interaction with Archer that they're able
Yeah,
to read people's minds and appear as human. We
yeah,
know that the Eska don't hunt the more evolved primates.
right.
So if they know that there's these alien species that come down to the planet and hunt them, why wouldn't they just all appear as more evolved creatures to avoid getting hunted?
To avoid getting hunted.
So
Well,
so
they
that
do.
that's like
They
that's a hole in my theory.
Well, it's a hole in your theory, and I think I actually just answered the whole question in my head, and I'll get to that in a moment. But to go to your point, um, they do talk about the fear that the wraiths have, and so the wraiths don't seem to be a particularly malicious or strong uh, culture.
Mm-hmm.
They seem to be fairly pacifist, kind of just in existence with nature, and so they may not know to be,
More
although they
aggressive.
do, but more aggressive. But then the Eska talk about the time that the main lead Eska hunter talks about when his father and 8 other Eskas had like cornered them in a ravine, and then only the dad and 2 other guys got out. That
Right.
the wraiths killed the other 5. So I honestly don't know. However, I'm thinking back to the beginning when Lieutenant Reed. I talked about this earlier. Lieutenant Reed talks about, this tastes good, and what is it? And they say it's Dragon meat. Dragon being the boar-like
Right.
creature, the pig-like creature. Um, then they talk about how they had not captured one of the wraiths yet. That was the whole point. They wanted to capture a wraith. So if they did kill a Dragon, but they had not captured a wraith yet, or killed a wraith yet, then that means that they actually did kill a Dragon, meaning that it is an existing creature
Right.
on that
Yeah.
planet.
So that also pokes a hole in my theory.
So I think all those things do exist, and the original idea of they'll sometimes camouflage themselves as other animals on the planet. Now, how those would thermal vents allow for that much life? I don't
I
know.
mean, that's just like one of those sci-fi tropes that you kind of have to go with as far
Yeah.
this kind of thing. Because like again, I'm rewatching Stargate Atlantis right now, and there was an
Are you doing
episode.
the back and forth with SG1 and Atlantis?
Yeah. So now that I'm at the point in SG1 where Atlantis was on the air at the same time, I'm watching because they both season 8 of Stargate or of SG1 was the first season of Stargate Atlantis. So now I'm
Right.
watching episode 1 of Stargate SG1 and then episode 1 of Stargate Atlantis, then episode
Mhm.
2 and episode 2 and episode 3 and episode 3 because they
Yeah, of
aired
course.
because they aired the same night. So I'm like, okay, like they don't all match up one to one.
Hmm.
But there's like a couple of crossovers, so I didn't want to watch all the way through SG1 and then watch all the way through Atlantis instead. This just makes it a
Yeah,
little bit easier.
yeah,
But there,
yeah.
there,
No.
there was an episode of Atlantis where they went to a planet that had like this fog on it, but the fog was the intelligent species on the planet. They were able to communicate like telepathically,
Hmm.
but they couldn't form any like physical type
Physical.
things.
There's an episode of Enterprise later in, I think, season 3 where they have it's not fog, but there's another sentient thing, and it's just goo. It's like the slime from Ghostbusters too.
Huh? Is it the thing that killed Tasha Yar?
No, no, it's not goo like that. It's more like a giant spider's web.
Because that's like there's probably backstory on that thing somewhere, but I'm
Mhm.
surprised that we never got that in like either Discovery or like any of the other things where they've kind of gone back and given backstory. Like maybe there's a book out there someplace that has backstory on that thing.
Well, didn't after that happened, didn't Picard like put a notice about that planet said don't go there?
Yeah, yeah.
Because
But
that
well,
thing
it's
was
kind of
like,
like the energy being from TOS.
yeah, yeah. And then it was like just pure evil, wasn't it?
Yeah. So if I remember correctly, the species that it had come from they had figured out a way to excise all of their hate and anger
Negative.
and
Yes.
negative energy, and they put it into this goo. It was basically the
Yeah.
slime from Ghostbusters 2,
Yes. Yeah. 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 I get everything goes back to
but
the slime
sentient.
from
Yeah.
Ghostbusters too, but sentient. um, I guess there's not a lot to talk about on this episode. I mean, what? Okay, so it's obviously an Archer-centric episode. There's a little bit of character development with Reed, in that we see him, wanting to hunt, and even though Archer talks about that hunting is not something that humans do anymore,
Right.
but Reed obviously there's some stuff to his backstory, which we learn way later in season 4. That shows his proclivity to being a little more on the dangerous side. Um, but but Archer is definitely the focal point of this episode, and then the wraith that turns into the woman that is basically from the was it a Keats poem? What was the poem? Who it's Keats, right? Or
Yeah.
was it
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeats? No, it was William
Yeah.
Butler Yeats, I think.
I'm looking it
Is
up.
the poem. Um, and so the woman is
It was Yeats.
it was Yeats, yeah.
Yeah.
So William Butler Yeats's poem put that image into a young Archer's mind, and then they dragged it out. Um, and So he's having to deal with trying to figure out why he knows this woman and how she could be there, which then in turns he learns that they've got some measure of intelligence and should not be hunted for sport, for food, for anything like that. And then but you had mentioned, what was the point of the episode? It seemed like a completely filler episode. Uh, it feels to me like, even though the ending is very rushed, I think like they get some really good moments, and then it feels like bam, we're at the end.
Mm-hmm.
She gives a line to him, and I wrote it down. Never stop seeking what's unobtainable. She says that to him right as you think he's about to kiss this giant slug monster.
Right.
And then he doesn't, because that'd be weird. And then she turns around and then turns into the slug, which I'm like, that's strange. But honestly, I think that's the point of the episode. It's just really trying to give a little bit of not even character development to Archer, because it's not really like it changes who he is,
Yeah.
but it just it sets up a bit of what we know about him into what we know he's going to become and set up.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, the whole episode is based off of a poem,
Right.
and even though in the fandom page, it says that it was not, or it says that it was not made as a anti-hunting episode. In fact, one of the creators used to go hunting with his dad when he was a kid. Incidentally, so did I. I could never pull the trigger though. I didn't have the heart. I like being out in wilderness, but I just didn't have the heart to ever,
Yeah.
actually hunt. It was more about, like, I like hunting with a camera. I guess I'd fashion myself more like a National Geographic observer than a actual game
So like
hunter.
what's his name from The Secret Life of Walter Mitty? Sean Penn.
Sean Penn, yeah. Kind of like that. Kind of like that. That'd be me. I don't know. What are you? Are you like?
Um I never went hunting. When I was in Boy Scouts, I was not an Eagle Scout. I didn't make it that far.
I didn't even make the Boy Scouts.
I made it into. I went through Cub Scouts, Weeblos, into Boy Scouts. I got a couple of merit badges, but then I was like, this isn't really for me. Like I liked camping and all that kind of stuff, but just the structure of it, I was just like if I want to do this stuff, I'll go out on my own. Like I don't like I can call friends and be like, hey, let's go do something.
So would you go camping on a planet like this?
Yeah, I think so. Like, I mean, I wouldn't hunt anything, so I'd have to bring all the supplies with me. But yeah.
Now, what if the boar worms? You wouldn't be scared of boar worms?
I'm not scared of ticks.
Okay.
Like ticks wig me out, but I don't, or like roaches. Like roaches wig me out, but I'm not afraid them gonna wake up in the morning and have one that crawled into my ear and wasn't able to crawl back out because they can't crawl backwards.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, they make a joke about the boar worms, but nobody ever gets. Yeah. It's not like the episode becomes a Dr. Flock special on how to cure boar worms, or how to cure someone, someone of boar worms. Although that does sound like excuse me, when I heard the boar worms in the episode, it made me immediately think, those gross pictures of like the insects that lay like a bunch.
Yeah, that like go into the back of people's like heads.
And then you've got all the circles in your hand or whatever, and like
ringworm.
Yeah, it makes me, ringworm, that kind of thing.
There's ringworm, and then there's bot flies.
Bot flies.
Bot flies are the ones that basically bore into like underneath your skin and then lay like an egg sac or something underneath there, and you get just like a giant cyst.
Yep. Now there is a funny way, apparently, to get rid of the botfly larva. Put bacon over you, and apparently the botfly larva will turn around and latch on to the bacon, and then you pull the strip of bacon off. So if you're ever in an instance where you got to worry about that sort of thing, just have some bacon on you. I guess it's kind of like the old wives' tale remedy for if you get a jellyfish sting.
Right. That's interesting. I don't know that I've ever been in a situation where I've had to worry about a bot fly.
I hope I never am in one, and I hope you aren't either.
No.
Yeah, no. I'm
like I've had a couple of ticks. Like when I was a kid, I got a tick underneath my armpit once. And I had one that tried getting into my head, but at the time my hair was much like yours is, and it just got tangled in my hair, so they just had to cut it out.
Okay. All right. Well, get it out of there. That's good. I'm glad that it got stuck.
Yeah.
You didn't have like Lyme disease or anything, right?
No.
Okay. No. Good.
Although I do have a friend who, more of an acquaintance now, but a friend who I think she said she got bit by a tick and developed an allergy to red meat.
Oh.
So that's kind of weird.
That's awful. I want to get bit by something and develop superpowers. Why can't we all be Spider-Man?
Right? That would be the way to go.
Can that just be an excuse to make bacon?
I mean, do you really need an excuse to make bacon?
No.
But I would assume.
My lovely girlfriend Deborah, actually, we had bacon this morning. So yes, there's always an excuse.
Using that bacon method, I would assume that's raw bacon that you were talking about, though, not cooked bacon.
Yeah, it's raw bacon.
I don't know that you would want to cook the bacon after the botfly attaches to it.
No, do not. But definitely have extra bacon.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna want the bacon.
Right. That's your You're like, it's like in what was that movie? Evolution.
Yes.
Where Orlando Jones was like, "It's bring me ice cream," and they're like, "Well, what flavor?" "Doesn't matter. It's for my ass."
There's an actor I haven't seen in a while. He was on something recently.
He's in American Gods.
Yeah, that's what it was. Go ahead and move your. Yeah, you went out of focus again.
Oh.
Darn. That's right. American Gods. That's what it is. But
I like Orlando Jones. Like he's a solid actor. Like I really enjoy I mean, Evolution is a bad movie, but I really enjoy it. It's funny.
It's one of those bad good movies.
Yeah.
I
The Time Machine. I really liked him in that.
The Guy Pearce Time Machine.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
The Replacements.
I've never seen something.
He was in another TV show before. What was he in Sleepy Hollow
The movie?
or Grimm?
Oh, he wasn't in Grimm as far as the first few seasons. I stopped at about season 3.
I don't remember. It might have been Sleepy Hollow.
Sleepy Hollow, I didn't check out. I don't know. But then again, just because I hadn't seen him doesn't mean he's not working. It just means he's not on shows that I'm watching. That's all it is.
Yeah, I just had that same thing, same thought about Michael Winslow.
Mm-hmm.
So someone posted on Twitter just a clip of Michael Winslow on some like Irish talk show, and he was hit there. One of the other guys was like a musician or something, and they were playing Whole Lot of Love. And Michael Winslow was doing the beatbox part and the lead vocals on it. And I was like, this guy is like super talented. And it's really bizarre to me that he hasn't been in more. But then I looked at his IMDb and he's been working steadily since Police Academy. It's just been lesser known things. It hasn't been like, like big network or major movie projects. I'm like, this is a dude that should totally be more famous than he actually is.
Yeah, it's kind of like Michael Dorn's an actor who does a lot of stuff, and you're like, why is he always like B movie stuff? And then
but you know what?
Eric Roberts.
If that's the kind of stuff that makes them happy, and because like for me, I never wanted to be like super famous. Like I don't want to be that person who has to worry about like paparazzi all over the place. I want to be comfortable in that I can do what I like to do and make a living off of it, but not necessarily popular enough that I'm going to have people stalking me.
So you could go to Ralph's on your own. You don't have to hire someone to go to Ralph's for
exactly.
You. Yeah, exactly. Not that anybody really wants to go to Ralph's. We just have to go to Ralph's.
Right.
I'd rather go to Publix if we had them out here.
Man, I miss Publix.
Oh man, their chicken tender sub. For those of you out here on the West Coast, you don't know what you're missing. But what more about the episode?
I don't really know that there is a whole lot more. Like so I think we're both kind of in agreement with this one. Ratings, I would give this one like a 3, maybe a 3.5. Like again, solid
out of 5.
Yeah, solid middle of the road episode. There's nothing special about it, but it's not bad. It's just it's not like 3 years from now I'm not going to remember this episode.
I'd have to agree with that. I guess I'll rate it one of two ways. As its own thing, I'd put it at like a 3.5. It was an interesting episode. In the grand scheme of Enterprise, I'd have to put it at probably a 3.
Yeah.
Interesting facts. Let me see. What do we got here? So the bottles that the Eska use for when they're drinking during their parties at the camp, those were also blood wine bottles in DS9.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And it looks like the Nielsen ratings kind of agreed with us. It was only a 3.3 with 4.69 million viewers, which is only 300,000 more viewers than the previous episode, which was taking place during the Grammys and all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Donnie gave it 10 out of 10.
Yeah. I mean, it's a solid episode. It's just not like as far as like production and story quality. Yeah, solid.
Yeah.
It just like in the grand scheme of Star Trek episodes, nothing special.
Nothing special, but yeah, it's a fine story. It doesn't feel like they're trying to hit you over the head with like a message about hunting one way or the other. I liked the concept of the rogue planet. I really kind of would have liked to have seen it somehow come back up, or maybe even the Eska come back up
Like
somewhere.
I was looking
Way.
and like this is the only episode and instance of this planet.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
there's no books that I could
Mm.
see where this has been revisited. It doesn't look like this is available in Star Trek Online as anything.
No.
So yeah, so
Because
this is just like a one-off type thing.
it'd be cool if they had have maybe brought that back in, say, Discovery. And then because you could have seen the Rogue Planet, what the Decalan Wraiths had,
Yeah,
evolved
yeah,
into
yeah.
over what would that be like? What not, I guess from that point it would have been 700 years, 800 years.
Well, in Discovery season 3, it would be almost a
Yeah,
thousand. It would be almost 1,000 years.
yeah, yeah, so 1,000 years. Yeah, I mean once Discovery
Yeah,
moves to the next
yeah. Because
time
for
zone.
all we know, 1,000 years in the future, maybe it found its way into a another solar system and got
Yeah,
caught into an orbit of another sun.
another sun. That would have been cool. Um, in world news, we were talking about how warp speed now has a possible physical roadmap to
Yeah,
being built.
which is
Uh,
interesting because previously I'd seen like quantum entanglement.
mhm.
With quantum entanglement, you can theoretically have communications over extremely vast distances because you have two atoms that are connected. So, but even if they're miles and miles and miles apart, they
Yeah.
still somehow communicate with each other. So now
Mhm.
with warp travel, it seems like we're like this. Like Star Trek really has been at the forefront of developing technology or
Yeah.
technology because I mean iPhones, iPads, like tablets, PDAs that all came like those were the pads that we saw in TNG.
Yeah. Now, granted, a lot of that stuff was also being developed
Yeah,
militarily, and
yeah, because I mean
for
laptops
good
were
or ill,
kind
a lot of
of
these things
yeah.
come from the
Like
military.
I didn't have, but my dad when I was growing up, he worked for a company that purchased a laptop.
Mhm.
Uh, but this was in like the late '80s, early '90s. So this laptop was, you know, it was probably as long. It was probably like maybe like this wide, and the screen on it, it just like flipped up. Like it's not like one of your computer monitors now. It's like a 15 or a 16 screen. This thing was
Mhm.
like a wide screen that was maybe 7 or 8 inches tall, and it
Yeah.
flipped up. And it was monochromatic, so it looked it looked like a calculator screen almost.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So there
Was
wasn't
it
a
like
lot
one
that
of
you could
those
do
old
on it.
Tandies? Was it
Yeah,
a
yeah,
Tandy?
yeah, yeah.
I think so. Yeah, a friend of mine, there was the rich kid in the neighborhood. They had one something like that, and it was like, whoa, this is cool. But man, what would it be like using one of those now?
Let me see.
Um, now, what I found funny about the paper on warp drive is that there's a physical model for it that theoretically it's moving beyond theoretical into the realm of possible. The the crux, or not the crux, but the kind of part of it that puts a whole damper on the affair is that apparently it would take more energy than is in the known universe to do it, according
Oh wow.
to according to the model that they've come up with. Now, of course, that means that if these scientists really do put more thought into it, maybe they'll come up with a way. And then the stuff in the news right now about how black holes might not be actually black holes; they might be super dense, like actual physical stars.
Interesting.
Um, yeah, and then
We always knew that black. I mean, well, not always knew, but within the past like 20 years or so, we've known that black holes weren't actually holes. That it was just super dense material that had been compacted so tightly
tightly,
that it sucked matter
yeah.
in from around it. Um, but I think we've known for a while that there was like something like I do know that now we think that there's a supermassive black hole at the center of the Milky Way galaxy,
Yeah,
and that
apparently
that's that the galaxy actually spins
is
around the black hole.
around it. But there's new theories coming out that black holes actually, the gravitational pull if they were to completely suck everything in, there would be no gravity at all. Which is why apparently you can see a last minute shootout last minute, but shootout of energy. It's electrons being spliced off and kind of shooting off. It's atoms being split and things like that, which is just insane to wrap my head around. But there's a new theory, and it's kind of one of those pseudoscience theories. It's respectable scientists who don't necessarily buy into what our current model of black holes are. And one of them is saying like they're actually donuts. It's that the pressure is so much that instead of it actually being a spherical donut or a spherical shape, it's actually a donut with
that accretion disk on the outside. Yeah.
Yes, the accretion disk. And then there's another person who's hypothesizing that black holes are not black; they're actually more transparent. And that you would actually be able to see light from beyond it, but it would be distorted.
Right. I'm gonna throw a picture up on the screen here really quick. This is the laptop that I had access. Yeah, I had access to it once in a while, just like when my dad would bring it home. But it was more of an office thing. Let me see if I can.
Devereaux says correct, Josh. I'm assuming that's in reference to you talking about always make the bacon.
Always make so between us here and the YouTube thing, you'll be able to see the laptop pop up there in just a second. Well, you will. Like for everyone watching, they'll be able to see it as they hear me talking about it.
Right
on. But yeah, like science is like one of those things where I'm just like,
oh, there it is. It's over your face.
Yeah.
And now it's floating into our faces. Yeah, man, that's the kind of laptop we need again.
So far, like since this, like the first computer that I actually used was an Atari 400, which essentially looked like this without the screen. Just crazy, like where we're at now.
Man, if only other parts of society could move as fast as technology.
Yeah.
That would be nicer. Although maybe not. I don't know. I mean, maybe that would make things go down, a rabbit hole you never want to go down. But like, what if, I don't know. I mean, social issues, of course. But like, if we could get through, get better that way faster too. But technology is moving so fast. What's that one theory about technology like moves so fast that?
Well, there's Moore's law, which is really specifically about like microprocessors that every 2 years they pretty much double in speed.
They double. What's the one where eventually AI will?
Well, there's the singularity. But the singularity is that's an event where AI will become so smart that it will ascend to a higher plane of being and leave like regular life behind.
Oh shoot, that's kind of cool.
Well, you've seen Her, right? So that's what happened in Her. That like Her was actually the story about the singularity. So the AIs that existed within this world, they all eventually talked to each other. They all kept evolving, and then eventually they went off on their own to exist as pure energy or whatever. So that was.
I'm gonna have to watch Her again because I didn't get that.
So I mean, but that was the backdrop to the character drama between Joaquin Phoenix's character and
Scarlett.
Yeah. Well, no, and the other woman.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna have to go back and watch that again. Then, I was not as riveted with it as many people were.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like we talked about this before. My favorite kinds of sci-fi, like I enjoy the sci-fi blockbuster things like The Fifth Element or like Star Wars and Star Trek and things that are kind of like big and in your face. But like my favorite episodes of Star Trek are the ones where the sci-fi aspect of it take a backseat to the character drama and the personal stories and everything that's happening within it. So like for me, movies like Children of Men, where it takes place in the future, and there's sci-fi aspects to it, but it's really about the characters in the story.
Yeah.
Space Station 76. It's
Mm-hmm.
about the characters, not really about the sci-fi. Robot and Frank, from a few years ago. That's Frank Langella, James Marsden,
Oh,
and
wow.
it's kind of like imagine iRobot,
Uh-huh.
but if instead of like all the action stuff with iRobot and like the robots taking over and that kind of a
Yeah.
thing, uh, someone buys their dad a robot assistant, and the dad
Mm-hmm.
is a former cat burglar and teaches the robot how to become a cat burglar.
Huh. And it's got one of your favorite actors in it, James Marsden.
And Frank Langella, who was
And
Skeletor.
Skeletor. I was going to say, does he do any Skeletor-like things?
He does
uh,
not.
he does not. Huh. I'm gonna have to check that out. I love Frank Langella. And speaking of James Marsden, I did catch Sonic this past week.
Oh, and
Uh,
Sonic 2 just went into production.
and Sonic, and apparently, third Ace Ventura is in talks on Amazon Prime
Really?
with the same writers from Sonic the Hedgehog. Yeah, it
I
was
hope
reported
it's
on
better than Dumb
Deadline, I
and
think.
Dumberer and Ace Ventura
Yeah.
Jr.
And Ace Ventura. Ooh, did that?
They
That
shot it. They shot Ace Ventura Jr. at Universal Orlando.
Universal Orlando. Yeah, I do know that. I do know that. I used to work there, so I do know that. I don't know.
I think they shot that after I'd already left.
Yeah, I don't think they shot that when I was there. I think I started working at Universal Orlando in 2001, or no, 2000, May of 2000.
Yeah, so it's probably between you leaving and
Yeah,
me starting, because I started there in 2008.
gotcha. Oh well, I worked there till 2014, and then I started out here at Universal Hollywood in 2014.
Now I need to look it up. Ace Ventura Jr. 2000. It came out in 2009. So yeah.
So they did film it.
So it must have shot there like either just as I started working there or right before I started working there.
Gotcha. I was yeah, I was actually hanging out with Scooby-Doo quite a bit at that point in my life. Yeah, I was hanging out quite a bit with Scooby-Doo. Let me see, what was I gonna? Oh yeah. So I checked out Pacific Rim.
Oh
in
yeah, the anime. Yeah, I ended up binging through that. I think on Sunday.
Sunday. What did you think?
I liked it.
Yeah.
I think it had some issues, but overall it was fun.
Okay. Yeah, the first episode or so was a little slow and kind of just normal.
Yeah.
There wasn't anything crazy out of there. But as the episodes went on, I really liked, and I hope they do more with it in season 2, because season 2 has been announced already.
Well, is it officially like a season 2, or is it season 1 part 2?
They're saying a season 2.
Okay.
This
just felt really short.
It was very short. Maybe that's because of the pandemic.
Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe they were a little worried about putting too much into production. But as of right now, they are saying season 2. Now, whether it's season 1 part 2 eventually, I don't know. But what I enjoyed was the ghost drifting. I thought the ghost drifting was a really cool concept, and I liked the links into the two movies. In fact, the guy that he ghost drifts with, that memory is one of the dudes. He's not a main character, but he's in Uprising. He's one of the characters from Uprising.
Yeah, well, because this takes place after Uprising.
Yeah,
I don't know how far in the future after that is.
It doesn't denote when after Uprising. It just we know it's after Uprising because we have spoiler alert. We have a lot of things that were kind of like sizzling in Uprising that we find fully formed in Pacific Rim: The Black. I don't want to shout it out in case anybody hasn't watched it yet, but there are some things that do happen, specifically with the character of Boy, and with the excuse me, the stuff where in Uprising, it was an Uprising, right, where the Jaegers get kind of like taken over by the kaiju.
Yeah. Because that's what the company that Charlie Day is working at now.
Yes.
They were building the Jaeger drones,
Mm-hmm.
and Charlie Day was using them. Spoiler for anyone who hasn't seen Uprising yet, but that's been 5 years
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
So, uh, uh, like he ended up being the bad guy because when him and the other dude drifted with the Jaeger, or not the Jaeger, with the kaiju in the first one, it fucked. Or when he did the drift originally, it fucked him up in the head,
Yeah.
and he was using the drones now to open it to use them to open up a portal to the I don't
So
remember what they called it,
the,
the whatever they were,
yeah, I and the progenitors
something
or
like
something,
that. Yeah,
something like that.
Um,
Yeah.
uh,
No, progenitors are from. They called them progenitors too, didn't they? I don't know.
yeah, I don't remember. But whatever they were, Charlie Day was using kaiju parts
Hmm.
to infect the drones.
Right. Yeah. And that kind of
Circles back here.
that circles back here. It's pretty direct,
Mm-hmm.
although you have to know Uprising to know
Yeah.
this. But you don't have to know. It really kind of stands on its own 2 feet as well.
Yeah. Like knowing the first two movies will absolutely help, but you could
Hmm.
watch these and they could do a good enough job explaining where they're at now in the world that
Yes.
you can kind of figure things out on your own. It's kind of like watching Deep Space Nine without watching TNG or the original series. Like
Yeah.
if you start watching Deep Space Nine, like some of the character relationships, you might not immediately understand, but eventually, none of that really makes any difference. Ryan says that you have a nice DVD collection. Actually, I guess
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
saying that
Yeah.
to both of us because
He said both of us.
actually you can't see mine. I don't think you can see mine here because
I can
my
see a few books.
yeah, you can see the books. My
You can see the books.
DVDs. Where are
Oh,
my?
there, your DVDs are over there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
these are a lot of my older. These are the only DVDs that I still have in boxes. Everything else is either
Yeah,
sold or
the
in
DVDs are.
the old
Here, I'll
cases.
put that up. But those are some of my DVDs. Uh, the rest of them will be here
Shortly.
shortly. Actually,
Yeah, they're coming in
I
the
do want to
U-Haul
show
next week.
off because I got this. I wanted to show this off last week.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Did you? Yeah, definitely.
just randomly, I was talking with Shay about because Close Encounters is one of my favorite movies, and I was talking about how I really wanted to get it in UHD,
Hmm.
but I didn't think they had released a 4K box set yet because
Right.
I had the 30th anniversary edition, which came out in 2007. This is the 40th anniversary edition, which came out in 2017. So
Can you throw it into the camera?
yeah, so it was UHD. And what's really cool about this, let's see, I'll show it off here first, and then it plays the tones and lights up. And it's kind of like a lithographic type thing, so you can kind of see like the stuff moving on the inside. So that was really cool. I watched it, and it does look really good.
That was kind of cool. It was a little late, but your RGB lights, your chroma lights behind you, they
That's
followed on
so
the.
that's the thing. I want to get more of these things now so that I can kind of do that with these.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
I'll
That
have to figure that out.
I I don't have any spiffy box like
Well, I see
that.
you've got the same Lord of the Rings extended editions that I do.
Yes.
Are you planning to get that ultimate?
Although
Are you
the
planning to get
ultimate,
the ultimate collector's edition later this year?
you know, I just don't. I don't buy DVDs or Blu-rays much anymore.
Neither do I. Like for me, it's specific movies that I want to see in the highest quality without the
Uh,
graininess or the artifacting that'll
Artifacting.
come with like streaming. Because like for most
Yeah.
things, the streaming is fine. But like for like movies that I really like, then or it's
Mhm.
things that have like these special collector's editions, I'll get them. And so like this is one of them. Um, Lord of the Rings is definitely another one.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um,
Uh,
I don't know. I
I,
don't know what
I'm
else.
there
Jaws,
is
maybe.
one. Jaws would be good. There's actually one that I would get if it came out. I'm currently reading a autobiography of John Cleese. I'm a
Mm-hmm.
huge Monty Python fan, and John Cleese is talking about. There's a show that he, Marty Feldman, Graham Chapman, and another gentleman who I'm not familiar with, Tim something, I can't remember his name, but the four of them did a show called the finally that 1948 show. Um, and it's basically a precursor to what Monty Python
Right,
was.
right.
Um, but at that point in history, the BBC and a lot of Hollywood as well, they didn't keep a lot of tape. After it was filmed and
Yeah.
aired, they keep it if they needed it, if it was something blockbuster. But if it was something kind of just under the radar that it was like, yeah, cool, whatever, they'd either throw the tape out for space or they'd record over it. And so what ended up happening is this show got recorded over. But John Cleese has been able to compile about 8 of the, I think, 13 episodes that were made.
Oh, nice.
And so if they ever put that out,
Yeah.
I will check that out.
There's yeah, something similar. I mean, it is completely by accident, but there was a lot of stuff that was lost. What was it? Like 10 years ago when the fire with
In the
the fire at
fire,
Universal.
Universal, yeah. Hmm. There was, uh, I think,
There were a lot of like music
King
masters
Kong,
that got lost there too.
Jaws.
I think.
Yeah, like originals, and it was crazy. But the new vault, I learned a little bit about the new vault, and this was years ago, so it's gone out my brain. But they were so paranoid about anything catching fire again that this new vault will like survive a nuclear
Oh wow.
holocaust or
Is
something
it,
like
is it
that.
like a was it a seed vaults?
Yeah, kind of, sort of. Now the only thing is though, what if the fire happens inside the vault? Then it's kind of like,
Yeah.
does everything go up like a matchstick because you can't get in there soon enough? Tim Brooke Taylor. Thank you, Donnie. That is Tim Brooke Taylor. Yes. Tim Brooke Taylor is the fourth member
Oh
of the
yeah, yeah.
1948 show that I was trying to remember. Um, we have totally gone off the tangent from
Yeah,
Rogue Planet,
yeah.
which I guess, but that's, I mean, if a Rogue
Well, now
Planet
it's just a
is
rogue discussion.
now it's a Rogue discussion, exactly. Let me see what else. Have you watched any? You said you were watching Stargate. I will put a shout out. Ultimately, yeah, I did like Pacific Rim: The Black
Well,
Season
are
one.
you watching anything current? Like
Uh,
what current are you
I
watching?
just finished Demon Slayer, which came out January. It's about 2 years old actually, but it got its American release with an American
Hmm.
dub 2 months ago or 3 months ago now. I just finished Demon Slayer, which was amazing. It's regarded as one of the best current anime, and it's already ranking up there as one of an all-time kind of best anime. And I didn't even realize that when I watched it. I clicked it on because it looked good, and I really got into it as an anime and as a story.
Hmm.
It doesn't do any egregious what I consider tropes of anime that a lot of anime's been pulling away from it, but there's a lot of womanizing and a lot of objectification of women in a lot of anime. This does not fall into that at all, which makes me give it great props. But just the anime style of it, the animation, the voice acting, both the Japanese and the American cast is stellar. Um, I can't say enough about it.
I started watching Debris, a new sci-fi
Mhm.
show on NBC.
Okay.
It feels like Fringe. Like, did you ever watch
Hmm.
that?
I did.
It's so the premise of the show is that at some point in the recent past, a spaceship, uh, or the remains of a spaceship that had like either somehow been destroyed, came
Mhm.
crashing down to Earth.
Oh, okay.
And,
Yeah.
so there's pieces of the ship that like spread out all over the planet. And so a military team has been put together to go and kind of find these pieces because the pieces are doing weird things to people.
Okay. And is it one that is it a binge type
No,
show,
it's
or is it
one a week.
episodic?
It's
One a
episodic.
week.
Yeah. It's network TV.
Oh, it's network. You just said
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Duh. Yeah. And what can you stream it on right now? Hulu,
Peacock, Hulu.
Peacock.
Yeah,
Okay.
Hulu and Peacock,
Hulu and Peacock. Cool.
or an antenna.
Yeah, that's true. But if you do that, then you got to be there at the time.
Yeah, yeah.
That's so inconvenient.
I mean, anymore it kind of is.
We say that, but then again, there's a lot of family members that I have that once you reach a certain age, I guess it's okay because that it gives you kind of a structure. If you watch TV,
I mean,
if you like that
I guess
sort of
it's one of those things where it's like when you're younger, you had appointment TV, and when you're older, you have appointment TV. But there's a certain ages in the middle where you're like, I can't base my schedule around what I want to watch.
Streaming seems to definitely be good for Gen Xers and older millennials. Yeah.
Because you're like me. We're cusp. We're on the cusp.
I think
Xennials.
Xennial. Yeah. Xennial. That's, and I don't know if that's a technical term or if that's just people like. I mean, well, that's what I am. But honestly,
they're all made up.
That's true. They are all made up. But like I definitely identify with part of Gen X, and I definitely identify with part of millennial culture.
Because I mean, the millennials, they're supposed to be the generation that grew up, like with pretty much all of them having access to computers and like cell phones and everything.
Yeah, and I didn't have that for at least the first 10 to 15 years of my life.
We got a computer because of the work that my dad did. I pretty much always had a computer in the house, like whether it was the Atari 400, which was more of a gaming machine, but it was still kind of a computer. I had relatives that had an Apple IIe. And then
a friend of mine had that. We played Oregon Trail all the time and King's Quest.
I want to say around like when I was like 10 or 11, we actually had like a 286 or a 386.
Yeah. We had a Packard Bell 386.
I don't remember what ours was. I don't think it was a Packard Bell. It wasn't a Compaq. I don't remember, but it was one of those like beige. It looked like kitchen appliance.
Yeah. It was a big blocky thing.
Yeah.
Probably.
And then and then as we grew up, as I grew up, when I got my senior year of high school, I was like, I'm gonna build my own computer.
Oh wow!
Because that was around the time that like computer stores started popping up. So around the corner from my house there was a computer parts place. So I was able to start just like piecemealing things together eventually with money that I made from I worked at a music store. I don't know. Do you remember in Florida?
Was this in Florida?
Yeah, a music store called Peaches.
Yeah. I went to Peaches a lot.
So I worked at the Clearwater location.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we had one. I think it was off of West Colonial in Orlando.
That sounds right. Because I remember like one of the first couple of times that I drove out to Orlando, me and my friends, I was like, we have to go here because I used to work at the one in Tampa, so now we have to go to this one so I can see how it's different.
I
don't think they exist anymore.
No, I haven't seen a Peaches in forever. There was a record store near where I used to live in Orlando called, I think they were AM/FM. They were a small little shop. They were like a mom and pop shop.
And then a friend of mine from school, from like Hebrew school, I think. His family moved to Vegas, and they own a record store out there called Wax Trax.
That's cool. Well, hopefully all of these stores, AM/FM and Wax Trax, they've survived the pandemic.
Yeah, I hope so too.
That would be nice. I love how this Rogue Planet discussion has become completely rogue.
Yeah. Well, I was just gonna say. So I think we pretty much wrapped everything up. We're just kind of bullshitting right now. I know you need to eat.
Yes.
I've got some random work that I need to do, but this was fun. I enjoyed sitting here talking about all this kind of stuff. I was talking with Elle earlier on the Ranger show about like maybe just starting up a chat show on Twitch, just to kind of get our Twitch going again. Just get kind of whoever's available, just to bullshit about whatever.
And we've also got to get our Star Trek Online going too.
Yeah,
Yep.
or the role playing game, or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Because I don't know. So my birthday is in 10 days. So I've been trying.
What does that put us at? The third.
So it's the 30th. So I've been trying to come up with something to do for my birthday since we can't go out. I mean, restaurants are opening up now, but
we can use the table and set something up, and we can stream a game.
Yeah, so I was thinking like maybe a board game, or like Jackbox, that we could get a bunch of people involved in that.
Oh yeah, anybody at home could play it too.
So we'll figure that out. Maybe it'll just be a watch along. Maybe I'll do a watch along of Close Encounters on Amazon, because I think it's on there. So we'll see. I don't know. But yeah, so I think that will do it for today. Coming up tomorrow, you can catch Jay and Pumps. You saw them in here earlier as Master Shake and Bad Culture TV. They will be joining Nate for the Illuminerdi Wrestling Order at 8:00 tomorrow night. Then Thursday night at 11:40, you will be able to join our Marvel crew for our live watch along of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. First episode was this past week, and it was really good. And then we'll be back on Saturday with both the Retro Ranger wrap up with episodes 3, 4, and 5 of Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue, and episode 19 of Star Trek Enterprise here on the Riker Maneuver. And that one is, I know it's the Ferengi episode.
Yeah. I'm excited.
It doesn't. Some of these Wiki pages are weird. Like sometimes they push you to the next one, and then sometimes they don't. So I don't know. But yeah, so it's episode 19.
Of all the episodes that I've gotten to do, which I think this is my third one now.
Yeah.
So the Ferengi one is probably one that I'm like, oh yeah. Although the first one I was really excited.
Acquisition. Is what it was called.
Of course it would be called Acquisition. Of course it would be called Acquisition.
Do you remember any of the rules?
I remember that you can make up as many as you want. If there's not a rule for it, you make it up.
So we will catch you guys next week with that. Maybe we'll pop up with like a random stream during the week. Have to kind of see what else is going on. But until then, check us out on the web at theilluminator.com, or back here on YouTube tomorrow night at 8:00.
See you then.
I never know how to end these things, so I'm just going to talk until I hit the button. And